Hey guys, Trey here for some Binding of Isaac Forgotten Synergies that you may not have noticed during your normal playthroughs. We're going to jump right in. A lot of these items that you may not have seen synergize with the Forgotten's normal Bone Swing before are because either you couldn't pick them up for devil deals or you just haven't encountered them yet. We're going to look at about 5 items, more if I see them, and we're just going to jump right in. And there will be a hidden tip for the Forgotten at the end in case you guys want to see that. And here we go. The first item we're going to look at today is Brimstone. Obviously, everybody's favorite. Brimstone is very hard to acquire early on as the Forgotten, so you may not get a chance to see it synergize with just his normal Bone Swing because you can't afford it in a devil deal if it does appear, and if you're just playing normally and don't get a devil deal, it's a very special item and it's pretty rare to get. So, whenever you charge up your Bone Swing to a throw, it will emit a large ball of laser. This may not seem particularly useful as it is very slow moving and doesn't move far from the Forgotten himself, and especially with a very large group of fast moving enemies in this game, you're not going to see a whole lot of use for this unless you actually use it. The damage output on this is amazing. It ticks fast, it does a ton of damage, it stays put, so this is going to be your boss killer. It is absolutely insane. It does take away the Forgotten's ability to throw his bone, which sadly, it's not super useful because you do have Brimstone on the soul. But this is one of my favorite synergies, and that's why I'm showing it to you guys. So you can put that special tip at the end of this video to special use to get Brimstone early on in the games. We're going to move on to the next item. Alright guys, we're back with the next item, and it is everybody's favorite Tech X. I know I'm saying everything's everybody's favorite, but Tech X and Brimstone are 2 items that carry you the entire run. So Tech X is nothing super special, it just does a Tech X laser around the bone. But what I find special about it is that it does return, and it does stay for a moment at the end of the bone's throw radius, which can make it particularly useful for extending your range just a tiny bit, or dealing that extra damage you need to the boss in order to finish it off. This is particularly useful for damage resistant bosses like Hush and Delirium, where sometimes you can kind of cheese past their damage output by just ticking with multiple sources of damage instead. Particularly about Tech X with this combination, it's noted that Tech X does not extend to the end of the room, it only goes as far as your bone does, and it returns. So you're going to hit enemies twice, pretty much, with Tech X and with the bone, and that comes for a total of 6 times if you hit enemies with the front of the Tech X laser, the bone itself, the back of the Tech X laser, then it comes back and it hits with the back of the Tech X laser, the bone again, and the front of the Tech X laser. So you can do a ton of damage this way and absolutely annihilate bosses, especially if they're larger bosses. On to the next item. Hey guys, we're back with the next item, and not surprisingly, it is one of my favorites, Technology. This is probably my favorite out of the ones I'm showing you. It's kind of tied for a second, I'll explain that in a minute, but Technology is absolutely amazing as the Forgotten. You swing your bone and a laser circle appears around you, Tech X style. It is only for a second, but it allows you to deal damage behind you whenever you're swinging with an extremely limited melee range as the Forgotten and an extremely long cooldown. So you're able to deal damage to enemies all around you, and this is especially useful if there are flies or other enemies that chase you around, and you can be moving and swatting things in front of you and also dealing damage to enemies that are chasing you. So I find this item very useful. Not to mention that the most useful part of it is when you charge up your bone and throw it, it leaves a laser trail that ticks the entire time that your bone is out. And that makes for a very damaging trail, and I will demonstrate that right now. So we are going to spawn Monstro, which is super useful for our crash test dummy. Um, Obviously, the Forgotten is pretty easy to deal with Monstro with because he's a very slow boss and doesn't move around a whole lot. But as you can see, that extra damage output from the laser is just absolutely annihilating his health. Um, so, as you can see, it is a viable source of damage, even if you don't make contact with the club. So, um, I will. I've been thinking about doing this for a long time, but I'm going to do a challenge where I can only use the backside of the Forgotten's laser ring during tech in order to deal damage to enemies, with the exception that if I can't reach an enemy, I can use the throw. And I think that'd be a pretty fun challenge. That's all I have for this item. I'm going to move on to the next one. Ah, there it is, our next item. Sorry, I had to pick it up off the floor after we killed Monstro. I kind of lost track of it, but we've got Monstro's lung now. We swallowed it and broke our teeth on the way down, so now we're all set up to be Monstro. This is an interesting synergy as you shoot bones. Don't look far into this. There's nothing super special. Some of the bones are whole, some of them are fragments. That has no, to my knowledge, it has no corresponding damage buff. But I will note that the bones deal more knockback than normal tears would. So if you are struggling with keeping enemies at bay as the Forgotten, maybe pick up this item and test it out on some enemies. You will absolutely destroy them, and you will keep them at a very far range, and they won't be able to deal damage to you. That's all I have for this item, and we're going to move on to our next and final item, and then stick around for one extra tip that I want to give you guys for playing the Forgotten. Alright guys, we're back with our last item. If you just saw that, you know what, I'm just going to replay it. Yeah, that was 4 damage. 4 damage, which almost doubles the Forgotten's damage. That's insane. So, not only does Mom's Knife make the Forgotten an absolute powerhouse for damage, but it also doubles his range both frontways and sideways of his swing. This is, without a doubt, my favorite item. I know I said tech was my favorite item to synergize with the Forgotten, but Mom's Knife is absolutely insane for the Forgotten. And I would advise that you pick it up whenever you possibly can, and even sometimes when you can't possibly pick it up in a double deal. And I'll show you guys that in a second. But just look at that range. It makes the Forgotten absolutely the best character in the game. If the Forgotten was able to pick up Mom's Knife every run, I would never play another character. That being said, I also like the Forgotten a lot, and probably one of my top 3 favorite characters, with the other being Blue Baby and either the Lost or Keeper, maybe 4. I like those 4 challenge characters a lot. But anyway, on to the tip that I promised you guys. But first, we're going to have to fast forward, clearing a few floors. Alright guys, so we are finally here. So, secret tip for all of you guys who watched till the end, I'm not going to put any stamp in the description for this, so if you guys made it here, congratulations. I deserve that. I absolutely deserve that. Alright, so this is not what I wanted to show you guys. We're going to have to go through another montage. Alright guys, so here we are with this tip. Um, After that montage, I decided to give up and just give myself a Joker card using the console. And so, alright, obviously, well, before I pick up these two black hearts, I do not have enough health to pick up the nail, and I can't do it. Obviously, if I go and pick it up, it does not give me any, it does give me health, it gives me a soul heart. No, it doesn't. So I die when I pick up a devil deal item if I don't have the health, as the lost. Well, the soul, but it looks like the lost as the soul. So you pick up a devil deal item that you don't have the health for as the soul, you die. But here's a trick, and I'm going to show it to you guys, and you guys are going to like it. And anyway, this is a new run. I have 2 bone hearts that are full, and 1 health as the forgotten, as the soul. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting the name to the soul. It might as well be Blue Lost. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. Blue Lost. Uh, Blueberry Lost. So Blueberry Lost has 1 soul heart right now. That costs 3 soul hearts. It does not give me any soul hearts back per the item description. I pick it up, quickly swap back during the animation, and I don't die. Now, notice I'm pressing Control on my keyboard. It will not let me swap back to the soul. You will be stuck without the soul until you can pick up another soul heart, but that's a way to cheese devil deals, so that you can pick up items that you can't afford and that would normally kill you as the Forgotten, and hopefully you may or may not have known that. But be cautious when you do it. You have to swap back, and you have to keep in mind that if you get stuck in a situation soft locked where you cannot kill an enemy with the Forgotten's range, for some reason you're just soft locked. You cannot swap back. And that's all I've got for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please join my Discord. Check out my Reddit r/Nikki at night. The link to the Discord is there and also in the description of the YouTube video. If you guys enjoyed the YouTube video itself, please like it and leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel if you're new. And I hope you guys have a great quarantine, and I'll see you guys in the next video.